Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Restorations. Check this out, man. I've had this thing for a good while. In fact, we just updated it probably for the last time. It's the AUTEL MaxiCOM MK908, and I've had a bunch of updates done to it. We're going to fire this thing up. I want to walk you through it and show you how it's changed over the years. Not a ton, like the interface is still the same. Some manufacturers change a lot of stuff. This one not so much. But it's pretty good. Of course, it's wireless Bluetooth dongle to the main unit, which is already plugged into a car here. We'll play with it some. And I just want to show you how long it takes to fire up. Sorry if the screen is a little bit reflective or fuzzy or whatnot, but unfortunately, well, she's got some years on her. Tell you what I'll do, I'll shut the lights off in the background here. Oh, that's much better. Okay. So we'll start, I guess, at home here. That's a constant reminder that the customer is always going to doubt us while we are doing our work here. But as you can see, this is an Android-based system, so it's got a lot of extra functionality if you want to flip around here. I don't have any really thing loaded up here other. There's a scope feature for this. We don't have it. Sound recorder, music, calculator, the usual things that Android's going to come, and of course our system settings. I guess we'll go into that, give you an idea. If you're still looking to buy one of these things new, what do we have here? As far as power, Android is 4.4.2. It's an older unit for sure. It doesn't say, I don't think it tells us. Yeah, so this is a custom built tablet. A lot of the I have a launch product, and that's a Lenovo tablet, so it'll give you more information about, you know, the computer that's inside of it, you know, the processor and whatnot. But it works fine. I've never had this thing, you know, crash or have huge issues or anything like that. All right, so there is, you know, the main screen here. We'll go into MaxiCOM, which is what most of y'all want to look at. And I guess I'll go through it. Diagnostics, of course. We do have service, shop manager, data manager, settings, ADOS, and then we have our update, academy, remote desktop, VCI manager, support, quick link, MaxiFix, and OEM authorization. And then beyond that, we do even have function viewer, digital inspection scope. We don't have these two items, and then the user center. User center, I'll tell user center, I won't click on that, but it's basically, you know, your contact ID, shop information, right? MaxiScope, speak for itself, digital oscilloscope addition that you can put on this. Then we have digital inspection scope. I also don't have that on here. Function viewer gives us an idea of the things that we have access to per car. Honestly, I've never really used that because when we go into a car to do our inspection, well, there we find it. MaxiFix is the online cloud. It's kind of like Identifix or, you know, top fixes by type, by year. So we're not connected to the internet here right now, so I won't do anything. But honestly, I'm going to say it's not very useful. Let's put it that way. I have AUTEL, I have all data, and that's pretty much where I live. Quick links is you can go out on your web browser and place links. So again, if I want to go to all data, if I want to go to, you know, any of those other websites that actually offer me the help I need, we got it. Academy is like how to, telling me all kinds of facts about it. So it's like the online manual, and it's not going to load here because, again, so the problem here is the company that we work for, this has been blocked, geo-blocked, because it does link to China, and they don't want those IP addresses they're afraid might have, you know, bad situations going on, so they block that stuff. So anytime this tool needs an update or whatnot, I have to take it to the house to do that. So I'll go ahead and get out of that for right now. Support, same thing. VCI manager is just showing us how, you know, our VCI identification and you know, how many are paired and whatnot. So if you ever have a communication issue, that's kind of where you go in for diagnostics for that. Update, I actually brought this thing home 2 nights ago and updated it, so it is up to date, and I would say it's fairly often updatable. You know, like about once a month I go on, I take it home and I update it, and there's usually 10 to 15 a month. If you wait 2 months, you know, you can pretty much guess that 80% of the car manufacturers have come out with some kind of a major update for their stuff. So it definitely is supported, and that's awesome. I like that. Settings here, that kind of goes back into your tool here, so I can go in here and change my unit. I want it US, language, printer settings, report settings, all that stuff. And so we just kind of go through there. You can see about all that stuff, system settings. Data manager, that's every time I save a file. I don't know how many are saved here, let's see. Yeah, we don't have a ton here. I won't go into the pictures and stuff, but you can save it, any data that you've saved, this is where you review it. I can watch videos, freeze frames, whatever you need to do. ADOS, of course, if you're doing any kind of alignments on newer vehicles, you do need some ADOS equipment. For an older tool, this actually does have pretty comprehensive coverage for ADOS. Service info is just exactly as it sounds like. I don't think, yeah, she'll connect. And these are the resets that we have generically. So again, each vehicle is going to have its own set, but we have DPF, oil reset, electric parking brake, tire pressure, brake monitoring system, brake bleeding, immobilizer and key programming, injector coding, steering angle sensors, suspension relearns, windows, sunroofs, headlights, odometers, you name it, you can see here. So very comprehensive across every brand. Now each brand you might not have access to all these on each brand or each model, but the newer the car, the more likely you're going to have that stuff. All right, we'll go into diagnostics since that's where most of you want to be. Now we have generic OBD2. I won't get into that with you today, but I will go in, and we were playing with a Kia. And so where is Kia? There it is. So we're going into a Kia, and it's just going to give you, hey, do you accept the terms and conditions that apply? And yes, I do. And it's pretty good. This is a 2016 Kia we're going to play with, and it has pretty good coverage on this. I guess I use so many different scan tools, and each one has its own little thing you kind of like about it. This one here, I will say, is pretty comprehensive. Maybe not the most comprehensive, but I think its coverage in general, especially for Asian cars, is really, really pretty good. So you do a read on it, it pulls up the VIN, we hit OK, and that's kind of decoding. It's letting us know what systems we have and what systems we don't have. Europe, Korean, USA, and here we go. 2016 1.6 GDI. I've got a problem with this that I feel like is in the GDI system. I think that we have an injector leak or a failed injector because there's a lot of gas getting into the oil, and that's not a good sign. In fact, I'm not all that familiar. GDI stuff, I got out of dealership work in 2014, and GDI didn't really show up on the scene until right around that era. I mean, you were starting to see it, but they were still, they weren't really having problems. So I'm having a bit of an issue sometimes with diagnosing some of these newer things, and that's not even a new car. It's just, I'm showing my age, I guess. So here we are on the main screen here. I'll go into hot functions, let you know what some of the resets are for this particular car. All right, so for this one, we have a throttle relearn. We can do brake bleeding, ABS, SRS. Apparently there's some stuff in there. Immobilizer keys, tire pressure monitor, steering angle sensor reset, and of course, oil reset. So not the most comprehensive reset list you're gonna see on this, but the Kia Rio was a pretty basic car. Didn't have for a lot of extra features and functions. No onboard nav, no adaptive cruise, nothing like that. So pretty plain. Vehicle profile is going to bring us back to the same stuff, right? We're going to have our VIN number. And then diagnosis is where we want to live. First thing I'm going to do with this is I will let it do an auto scan. I'll let it roll through all of them just so you can see how long it takes. 256 is when we're starting, and here we go. Cool, so that was less than a minute. You can see it hasn't even clicked over. It was right near 257 when we started. So you can see how fast it goes. It's going to push all the ones that actually have codes to the top. Occupant detection sensor is bad on this one because there's no one in the car. The key's been on for a while, so it doesn't detect even a driver in there. Airbag fault, I'm not sure what that is, but the customer is more concerned about the fact that the car won't start. And then of course it has ones no response. Those are going to be units that it doesn't have. Kia is notorious currently for not having immobilizers on some models. It appears this is one of them. Now we can generate a report, right? And then we go through it and we show what we've got. And if we had codes that had freeze frames, we certainly could get into that as well. All right, so before I go into the engine, let's take a look at something else. So let's take a look at ABS. There's no codes or anything, but let's go in there and see what kind of activation we have in the ABS system. We have live data. Let's see what special functions. So we have air bleeding mode, auto detect, longitude calibration. All right, what kind of active tests do we have? We can check probably spin rates. Yeah, so we have a lot of things we can activate. So bidirectional control, the difference between a mid-level scan tool and a high-end scan tool like this is bidirectional control. And this one clearly, even on a car like this, which is a little bit more simplistic, still has the ability just in ABS to handle all that stuff. So if I have a code for left rear wheel sensor not working, and we want to figure out, get to the root of it, I can activate different sensors and solenoids to make sure that things are working. So very nice, I like that. We can just turn the motor on and off if we want to. Live data, of course, it's all there. So if I wanted to get the car up in the air, get the wheels off the ground and spin a wheel to see if I was having a counter that wasn't working, well, we certainly could do that. So we have all our specs here. I wonder why that's open as much as it is, but I'll just go through this list real quick for you. Yaw rate sensor may be slightly out of calibration, but not terribly. Cool. Well, you get the idea there. And then, of course, you can read trouble codes on individual modules if you like. All right, let me get out of that. And we'll go up to engine because I know that's where most of us are going to do our stuff. We're going to go in there. And again, this one doesn't have too many special features, so not too many special functions, but we can reset our adaptation. We can do an evap test. We have the reading and writing of VIN, which is, you know, if you're going to have replacing computer components, we have to do that. So not a ton there. Active test, though, we do have a lot of information here. And I was using this earlier today. We can test them, you know, see if the check engine light works. We have cruise control tests, oil change warning lamp, and then we have relay stuff. So I was checking for fuel issues to see what was going on there. We were turning on and off some of that stuff. But you can see canister purge valves, variable valve timing. Do we activate a solenoid? If we want to cause a misfire, kind of a power balance test. We want to cause a misfire, enable, disable injectors, enable, disable coils, VVT cam solenoids, oil control, and adaptive correction for oxygen sensors. So a pretty decent list for a car of this era. Cool, and then of course we have trouble codes. We don't have any there. And then live data. This is pretty comprehensive on this car. And I guess this is where I'll probably end this video because this is where the meat and potatoes are. This is how we diagnose cars in the modern era. Cool, and this is comprehensive. So lots and lots of information. I'm just going to stroll through it. You all look at it. You can slow the video down or pause it. If you have any questions about it, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to talk to you about those. And I guess I'll get a little farther down here. So we have the ability, these are all on off. So you're just going to see value off, value on. But as we go down through, this has got a lot of stuff going on. We finally get down here. And we get into these things here. So actual RPM, we can click on this and we can go here and show it as, you know, a gauge here. So let me go ahead and crank the car over real quick. And you can see it's not a healthy car, but RPM, we could have it like that. We also have the ability to show it as a bar graph as well. So we can go back, well, I've already taken care of it, but you could see it as a waveform. So there's a lot of options there. If you just don't want to see your digital readout, you have your choices there. And I like that. I think that out of all the ones that I've come across as far as scan tools, I like the ability to do that. If I want to see it as a dial, or as a scope pattern, I'm able to do that. Still a little concerned about the throttle opening, but it could be, I mean, it is adapted, so it may be that it's dirty and needs a good cleaning. Okay, let's see what else we got. Fuel pressure values, you know. And this one here, like I said, I'm kind of worried about high pressure fuel pump being an issue. That's unusually not normal. Now, if you ever work on Kias, let me know why that would show up like that. That is not right at all. Duty cycle and direction. Let me crank it over and see if that value changes. So that may just be at rest. Clearly it's come back down to normal-ish, although I still don't like that. But so you can get the idea here. AC pressure, torque decrease. Oh, let's see here. A lot of great information here. State of charge, which that's kind of nice that this car has that option. Fuel pressure. So we are looking at 1200 psi. I think it's supposed to be normal value for this is probably somewhere between 600 and 2000, I believe. But look at this, how quickly it's dropping. Now I know the fuel pressure is supposed to drop off on these GDIs. I'm just not sure at the rate. I'm actually having a really hard time with Kia trying to figure out what the values are supposed to be. You know, we kind of come to a place in this world where we just replace stuff, you know. Yeah, I think it's a pump. We put a pump on it. And we have that ability because of the, you know, always on demand stuff. I can call it in, but anyway, I guess that'll do it. I mean, that's pretty much where we're at. It's a pretty nice setup. So would I recommend it? I've had this thing for 5 years. Yes, definitely. I think it's a really worthy tool. I think it's good. It's good for diagnostics. It certainly is an advanced diagnostic tool. Are there better tools on the market today? Yeah, sure. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that the AUTEL isn't a good pick. If you can get one of these used, I certainly would do it. I don't know what the cost is on these right now. I know what I paid for it when it was new. And I bet you if you bought a brand new equivalent AUTEL, which we're looking to buy a replacement for this, that you would end up with something that is just spectacular. because the quality's there, the updates are there, and the tool is robust. We've dropped it a few times, never had any issues. I guess that'll do it for today, my friends. Till next time, take care.